Between 2019 and 2021, we have studied how the Pomor communities of Onega Peninsula and Terski Shore adapt to environmental change driven mostly by global warming. Local fishing activity is tightly linked to the yearly migration cycle of different species of fish, such as herring, humpback salmon, Atlantic salmon, saffron cod, and lumpfish. It is also heavily dependent on weather and climate conditions, such as storms and shifting periods of freeze-up and ice drift. Daily life of the local population is also shaped by social factors, such as rural depopulation or lack of transport infrastructure, and ecological factors, such as other species. Sea mammals, such as seals and beluga whales, are damaging the fishing gear. Predatory amphipods are eating alive the fish stuck in the nets, while seaweed and jellyfish often clog up the nets. Climate change lengthens the period of sea ice freeze-up and ice drifts. During these periods, fishermen cannot leave the shore. Reduced thickness of sea ice also hinders the use of motorized transport. 30 years ago, the ice in Unskaya Bay was thick enough to allow moving around on tractors, or even to use it as a landing strip for small aircraft. But now it is no longer possible. Climate change does not yet noticeably affect the seasons of fish migration, but it does affect its geography. Thus, warmer surface waters drive the herring away from the coastline, which makes it more difficult to harvest using traditional fishing boats and gear. Besides climate change, Pomor communities also witness other environmental changes. According to many fishermen, the overall fish stock is diminishing, and the humpback salmon, introduced here from the Far East in the 1970s, is competing with the native and highly valued Atlantic salmon for spawning grounds. In 2021, Varzuga and Umba rivers were on the brink of ecological disaster caused by humpback salmon that died massively after spawning and decayed in the water. Poorly regulated recreational fishing in tourist camps along the rivers poses another threat to Atlantic salmon. In violation of catch-and-release fishing rules, tourists often keep the fish that should be released for themselves. And even if released, the Atlantic salmon often cannot recover after improper handling and become infertile. Thus, the native Atlantic salmon population at its spawning rivers is dwindling. Our research indicates that although climate change by itself does not threaten the traditional livelihood of indigenous Pomor population on the shores of the White Sea and Atlantic salmon spawning rivers, it amplifies the negative influence of other economic and environmental factors, making them harder to adapt to.